Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a new year, a new beginning, and I want to drop a different type of video rather than, I've talked about goals over the last few episodes, but this time I want to talk about something called positive business karma, or otherwise known as value equity. What is positive business karma? What is value equity? In summarize, just it's adding value to people in different ways without being too greedy and asking for the money or the sale straight away. But also on the flip side, it's knowing when to ask for that piece of business, it's knowing when to ask for that sale. So going back to value equity, there's different ways in which you can add value to people. Not all the time is it from a monetary value, not all the time from it's a time, investing your time into something. Sometimes it could be a knowledge point. You could build a brand just purely on providing knowledge to individuals. So you could also add value in the form of connecting people. Are you a super connector? Do you love networking and speaking to people? How can you connect people and add value to them in different ways? So the key thing for everyone to understand is there's different ways in which you can add value to people. There's different ways in which you can increase your value equity within a relationship, especially with a prospect. Number two, and this is probably the key point in anyone that's trying to build a business. The number one thing that most people reach out to me is, how do I raise investment? How do I get more sales? How do I build a business? It's knowing when to ask for that sale. There's a difference between adding value to people in so many different ways, but then you're not looking after yourself. Nobody's going to pay your bills. We still have to survive as human beings. We still have to put a roof over our head, food on the table. We still have bills. Like, those things are crucial in order for us to survive. So knowing when to ask for that business is super important. So yes, there's value equity, and you want to increase, and that builds your brand and that builds a relationship with individuals. But the way you're going to get paid is knowing when to ask for it. So having said that, what are the times in which you should ask for it? Is knowing that you can help someone for that. So you've provided connections, you've provided knowledge to that individual. After that value equity has been built, you're in a perfect position for you to then ask for that sale, ask for that big piece of business, but you got to build that first. For example, I'm providing mentoring services for helping people raise money. The number one thing I do on a phone call or in a video or in anything, I go and provide as much information and value as I possibly can, but I also get to share my knowledge. I also get to connect them to different people, but also I get to understand the common values I have with that individual, and I get to understand their story. So sometimes it's not just about knowledge and connections, it's actually about just being there, appreciating that person. That is also a different form of value equity. Then you get to a point when you're like, okay, now I know this person needs my support. I've identified a problem. I know I can add value to this person. It's not about being selfish. It's not about being money greedy. It's about asking for that sale because you can add value to that person, and you've identified that you can add value to that person, and you want to take that relationship forward. So don't overdo it. Provide value when it's possible, but also understand that you've got to pay. You've got a roof overhead. You need to pay for the bills. We need to survive, and it's important knowing when to ask. And I see a lot of people who are trying to build popularity by doing all these podcasts, by doing all these videos, by creating all these channels, but they're not monetizing it. They're not asking for that business. They're not taking it to that next stage. And one of the things that has been crucial to the longevity of my career over the last 10 years is the fact that, yeah, I've gone out there and been a super connector, and I've built communities, and I've done events, and I've shared knowledge with people as much as possible. But I've also asked for the business when I know that I can ask for that business, and I know that there's value to be added on a further scale in which I can then look after myself. So this is, I've talked about value equity, and I've talked about positive business karma, and while this is very important, this also has a link to sales, and I think we all struggle with sales to some extent. And one of the key things I want people to understand is, the more you ask, the more you'll get. If you don't ask, you will not receive. But don't be afraid to add value to people in different ways, even if it's not your service that you're providing. I hope that helps. Please, you know, these videos are, you know, important to me because I want them to know that these are going out there and people are listening. So I really appreciate if you could like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe and click on the notification bell to receive notifications about my future videos. I hope that helps, guys. In the meantime, have an amazing end to the week, and I hope to catch you guys very, very soon.